Hello everybody, what is going on? Welcome to the channel. We are riding 1605 NK again. Right now we have 14,339 kilometers on the odometer, and this is the reliability check. 1605 NK actually has one problem. So mechanics from the place, they've noticed abnormal valve noise, which indicates that the valves might not be sealing properly, which can potentially lead to power loss. And indeed, they've said that actually the bike is not as dynamic as it once was. Very happy to be back on 1605 NK, if I'm being honest. Oh, these super wide handlebars. This really nice, smooth power delivery. I was waiting for that, honestly. I don't really want to go fast. I don't want to do any wheelies. I don't want to do anything stupid, but just when you ride the 1605 NK, you feel as if you enjoy your riding a little bit more without this urge to do stupid shit. This bike is more than capable if you're talking about some stupid shit. It can do wheelies, it can do stoppies. The only thing you need to understand is that you need to get rid of this ABS because it's quite intrusive. But I would say it's not as intrusive as on some other motorcycles from CFMOTO, so it's not too bad. I rode for what? Few minutes just now, and the bike feels just the same way as the first time I rode, but all those issues, they're pretty alarming. I'm not a mechanic, so for me it's really difficult to identify the problem. When I rev up the engine, when I listen to the engine, I do not hear all those things they're talking about. So for me, everything sounds good. But they've said that 1605 NK and 1605 SR both have this problem. And when I was talking about 1605 SR, I've mentioned that it doesn't feel as powerful, it doesn't feel as fast. And they said that actually this is exactly because of the valve issue. Do I feel that the bike is less powerful than before? Absolutely not. It feels just as powerful as the first time I rode it. I like it a lot. The smooth power delivery is extremely addictive and very pleasant. The good news is that 1605 NK seems not to burn engine oil. At least this one. I read your comments, I was checking some information on Reddit, and actually some people who purchased 1605 NK also claim that they've noticed that some models, some bikes, some NK 1605s indeed keep on burning oil. Well, this was my first wheelie on 1605 NK. This time wheelie in 1605 NK is super easy if you know how to do wheelies. The power delivery, as I've said many times, is super smooth. It doesn't actually rip off your arms while trying to do a wheelie. So it's very manageable if you know what you're doing. Obviously there are some pros and cons in terms of wheelies. I would say that the only thing I don't like is that actually the bike is on the heavier side of a spectrum. And just a couple of days ago I was riding 500 RR from Jiangsu, and even though this is a naked bike and that was a sports bike, fully fair sports bike, but I would say that it was much lighter, and when it came to wheelies, it was really pleasant to do just because it felt like a toy. 1605 is playful, but it doesn't feel like a toy. Does it make any sense? Shit. So I was trying to launch the bike very aggressively, and unfortunately, as we're doing this wheelie, traction control stopped us. Well, that is pretty nasty, honestly speaking. Okay, Let's turn off this freaking traction control. I don't want to do this, but okay, it's off. That's a good result. Well, my 0 to 100 wasn't too good, but 0 to 150 is sub 8 seconds. Well, it's not good actually, but it's better than I expected somehow. Traction control was off, and I don't know whether you could see it or not, but the front end of the bike was hovering all the freaking time, so I could not possibly add any more gas. This is the problem with this bike. With the 605 SR, it was much easier. All right, 3.81. Actually, funny enough, I believe this is my best 0 to 100 on 605 and K. Well, 4.1 from 0 to 100 and 7.98 from 0 to 150. The front end of the bike is hovering all the time. I don't even know whether I'll be able to launch it any more aggressively than this. All right, 3.87. Well, it's kind of all right. All right, I'm gonna press as hard as I can. Just now we're measuring acceleration, and funny enough, we are just as fast, if not faster, than the first time I rode the bike. And the reason why I'm surprised is because I've been told that the bike is supposed to be a little bit less powerful because of this valve issue. Honestly speaking, I do not hear any noise, but as I've said, I'm not a mechanic, so it's easy to trick me in this regard. But numbers don't lie. Dragy doesn't lie. My best 0 to 100 just now was 3.81. One can argue that I was launching the bike a little bit more aggressively. Maybe, yeah. In the end of the day, the front end of the bike was hovering all the time. I don't even know what to say because everybody tells me that, oh, the valve issue has compromised the engine. Right now this bike is slow, or at least it's slower than before. Then I hopped on the bike, I started riding, and it felt just as fast as before. But I know that sometimes your perception might be a little bit biased. You don't really feel the difference, because I did not feel the difference on 605 SR. It was just as fast. But then when I was measuring the acceleration with Dragy, the acceleration was substantially worse. This time the acceleration is better. So what do you think, guys? Do you think this bike is not reliable? Do you think this valve issue is legit? Because those mechanics from Rent Out Place, they've told me that the valve issue is legit and the bike is losing compression, thus it's not as powerful, it's not as punchy, it's not as fast. Yet, we went to the place, we measured acceleration, and it's faster than the first time I rode it.
As I've said, I think that CFMOTO 675NK is so far my favorite CFMOTO. However, there are a few problems. Yesterday when I was riding for a long time, I understood that even though this is actually a naked bike, my wrist felt tired. So this ergonomics is very aggressive as for a naked bike. On top of that, if you ride in standstill traffic, when you just try to split the lane, I would say that it doesn't feel good at all because it's too bulky, too big, and the handlebars feel way too wide. Again, this is an advantage when it comes to conventional riding, but if you're just stuck in a traffic jam, you would not like this experience. And the third thing that I don't like about 675NK is the quick shifter. From time to time, I do feel like it's a little clunky, it doesn't work as well as I wish it to work, it feels like the power is not being delivered well enough. Speaking about reliability, this 675NK actually doesn't burn engine oil at all. Our fuel consumption is only 6.5 liters, which is super low. I would remind you that on my 675 SR, it was at about 9 liters. The detail which is compromised is called fuel injector nozzle, and this is one of the symptoms. If you see that your bike is over-consuming gas, most likely it also gonna over-consume the engine oil. And this is exactly what happened to my 675 SR. With this 675NK, we do not have this issue. However, I've been told that we have a valve issue, and let me tell you why it's a big deal.
Exactly, but I'm not gonna do this.
If the valves aren't sealing properly, then it leads to compression loss. As a result, you'll notice a reduction in engine power. And if the issue isn't addressed, over time it can cause overheating and eventually lead to engine damage.
The smoothest motorcycle I've ever ridden. So smooth. And in this form factor of a naked bike, it's just such a sweet bike, such a sweet bike. Secure plus to ride with. I don't even know what to think because it feels fast, it has zero vibrations, it feels just as good as the first time I rode it, and acceleration wise, it's even faster. So you decide, guys, what to think, because I can only provide this information. I can only tell you what I've been told, and I can share my acceleration. Do I still think that this is the best CFMOTO? Yeah, I do. This is by far my favorite CFMOTO. I like it even more than NK800. In the end of the day, NK800 is going to be a little bit more aggressive. It would have more technology. It would have ride-by-wire. I would say that maybe NK800 would be a little bit better for wheelies, but not necessarily because this power delivery is so smooth. So I don't know, just the matter of your personal taste. I would say that for wheelies, NK800 is going to be a little bit better, but just for casual riding, this is much more pleasant. Hey guys, tell me what you think about 675NK in the comment section below. What do you think about the acceleration? What do you think about the valve problem or this potential problem? Tell me everything. I'm gonna read all your comments. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and as always, I'm gonna see you in my next videos. Bye everybody, take care.